and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. Yes, because it's the second episode, but let me stop playing. Couple of things I want to cover before going into today's topic. So first thing being, why rebuilding the shell? When I introduce y'all, will introduce myself to y'all as Sharice. Well, if you haven't guessed it, Sharice is my first name, Nichelle is my middle name, and I've always wanted to go by Nichelle, but I could never quite get it to stick. So this is my second chance, hopefully. Well, actually, I think I do still want to go by Sharice. Rebuilding Nichelle. Nichelle is my brand. There it is. That's it. And then secondly, I want to discuss how often you guys can expect to see videos uploaded. So my goal is to have videos uploaded every other week on Sundays by 8 a.m. Please hold me to that goal, because I will let life get in the way. And honestly, this is only my second episode, but this is time consuming. But it's not about the time, it's about the lives that I am going to be able to impact and the people I'll be able to help. So, with that being said, let's jump into today's topic. Today's episode will focus specifically on the facts and statistics that many people aren't aware of but desperately need to know. Understanding the scope and impact of childhood sexual assault is crucial in raising awareness, supporting survivors, and working toward prevention. But before we begin, I do want to give a trigger warning, as this content may be distressing or triggering for some viewers. If you are a survivor or find this topic difficult to engage with, please prioritize your mental health and well-being. Feel free to pause, skip sections, or return back to the video whenever you feel ready. And for anyone in need of support, please check the resources in the description box below. Know that you are not alone. So, understanding the facts about childhood sexual assault is just the beginning. To truly grasp the complexity of this issue, it is important to familiarize ourselves with the language used to describe it. So, first, we'll explore key terms and definitions related to sexual assault. Terms that help us talk about this issue with clarity and sensitivity. By understanding these words, we can better support survivors, recognize abusive behaviors, and contribute to a more informed and compassionate dialogue. So, the first term I'll cover is grooming. Grooming is manipulative behaviors that the abuser uses to gain access to potential victims, coercing them to agree to the abuse and reducing the risk of being caught. This mostly is used against younger children. As in my case, I was 9 when the abuse first started. The second term I want to make you aware of is molestation. Molestation is to make unwanted or improper sexual advances towards someone. Next term, sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is making a child touch another youth or adult sexually, putting objects, body parts, or a mouth on or in a child's sexual organs, and any other sexual touching from an adult to a child. A child cannot consent to any form of sexual activity. And I think I need to say this again for the people in the back. A child cannot consent to any form of sexual activity. And the last term I want to cover is rape. Rape is to force someone to have sex when they are unwilling, using violence or threatening behavior. Now that we've covered the basics, it's time to dive into the numbers. Statistics can be difficult to hear, but they are essential for understanding just how widespread childhood sexual assault really is. These numbers represent real lives and real stories, highlighting the urgent need for awareness, support, and action. So let's take a closer look at the data to better grasp the scale of the issue and why it's so important to keep this conversation going. Every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. And every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. Meanwhile, only 25 out of every 1,000 perpetrators will end up in prison. And out of every 1,000 sexual assaults, only 310 are reported to the police. Now let's pause there because I really want to kind of dive into those numbers. 9 minutes a child is assaulted every 9 minutes. Meanwhile, only 25 out of 1,000 people go to prison for it. And that's simply because victims are often silenced. Victims are often not believed, where the abusers are typically protected. But I'll cover that in a later episode because I don't want to stray too much off a topic. So let's jump back into the facts. So, among cases of child sexual abuse reported to law enforcement, 93% are known to the victim, meaning the victim usually knows their abuser. It's hardly ever a stranger. Out of 1 in 9 girls and 1 in 20 boys under the age of 18, they will experience sexual abuse or assault. 82% of these victims under 18 are female. And of all victims under the age of 18, 34% are under the age of 12. Childhood sexual abuse and molestation are linked to a range of serious mental health issues. Mental health issues stemming from childhood sexual abuse can begin shortly after the abuse, or it may not occur until many years later. PTSD is one of the most common psychological effects of childhood sexual abuse. Common signs of PTSD include reliving the event through flashback or memories, avoidance of intimacy, loss of memory of the event, and it can also increase the likelihood of other issues such as depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and suicide. Sexual abuse can also lead to a wide range of interpersonal issues such as relationship problems, unstable family dynamics, and sexual issues as well. So, as you can see, sexual assault to a child can be really detrimental to your development and who you are as an adult. As you can see, based on the facts and the statistics, childhood sexual assault is a silent epidemic that affects millions, yet it often goes unspoken. Understanding the facts is critical in raising awareness and breaking the cycle of silence. By learning the true scope of this issue, its prevalence, long-lasting effects, and the many survivors affected, we can begin to foster empathy, support, and action. Knowledge is a powerful tool in the fight against abuse. With awareness, we can create safer spaces for children and empower survivors to heal and reclaim their voices. All data shared today can be found on the following sites: helpingsurvivors.org and RAIN.org. RAIN stands for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. So, you guys, that is all for today's episode. I'll be back in 2 weeks to share my personal story of when I personally first experienced being sexually assaulted. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. But until next time,